and welcome back to Aubrey Books and Coffee. Please grab your favorite beverage of choice and join me. So it is officially April 1st, and I'm not going to do a TBR game. Nope, sorry. April Fools! Had to do it. Of course I'm going to do a game. That's why you're here. That's why I read. I need my TBR game to make sure that I get reading done. So hopefully, though, since Realmathon exhausted me with 30 books last month, I'm hoping the rolls go easy on me this month. Let's find out. All right, a new month, a new TBR game. Let's see how many prompts. I'm hoping just a few this time because last month was exhausting. It was fun, but exhausting. Hey, I'll take 3. I am A-okay with that. So 3 prompts, and the first one is going to be a peppermint. And it says, from another country. Ooh. Okay, well, 3 rolls, 3 prompts isn't so bad. I do unfortunately have that card from last month that will make it 4 total that I've got to pick from, but not so bad. It could have been so much worse. I could have gotten the full 6, right? And that first prompt especially is so spot on and perfect because for the reading challenge for the Little Inklings planner that I have, I needed another country anyway. So for this prompt, I chose Anastasia by Sophie Lark. I'm excited to get to this one. A lot of buzz happened previously that made me really want to pick it up, so I bought it at the time. Hadn't gotten to it since. It is a bit of a chunker. It's like 660 pages. So this one will take a little bit, but that's okay. Because again, it gives me Russia, which is what I needed to fill in on my Around the World Reading Challenge. Now in this, we're following obviously Anastasia, but with a little bit of a twist because Anastasia has a power that is similar to Rasputin's. Ooh. And as it grows, she gets more and more attracted to the wrong kind of guy, a rebel named Damien. So it just sounds like it's going to have some twists and some fantasy mixed in with that. And I've always been fascinated with the Anastasia story, so I'm excited to get to it. All right. And the second one will be a roll again. I think I will. A wine glass. And it says a magical realism. So magical realism can have a little bit of, interpretation done. So for this one, I chose one that's been on my shelf for a while that I got through Pango really cheap. And so it's kind of falling apart, but I'm excited to get to it. And that's His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik. All I know is it's supposed to be set in the Napoleon Wars, but with dragons. So magical realism, I think, and I am excited. And the final roll is a cookie. And it says for our cookie, Black Lives Matter. I love the Black Lives Matter prompt because it allows me to read authors of color. It reminds me, in case the mainstream stuff that I'm grabbing isn't, it reminds me to pick one up. So for this prompt, I chose Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. And from what I understand, this follows the main character who is actually a wizard on the east side. And it's just going to follow something strange is happening in her town and how she's going to use magic to help with that. So I'll let you know at the end of the month what I thought. Now don't forget, last month I didn't get all my steps in, so I ended up getting cholera and I have to add a prompt to my TBR. So here's the 4th one. Ooh, a book. I like ending on a book. And it's a color in the title and womp womp, a coffee break. All right, coffee break. Be kind. Please be kind. Yay! I get to gain a check mark on my card. Woo woo! So for that fourth prompt that we had to have, we got color in the title, which is actually pretty perfect because I've been dying to read Crown of Crimson by Karina Hale. This is the sequel to A River of Shadows, which was a 5-star for me. I've been dying to get to the second Underworld Gods book, and this is the month to do it. And our apothecary jar pick. So many to choose from. The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. So the apothecary jar got us The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. I don't know much about this. I had to actually look it up on GoodReads to read a little blurb again. Anything I add to my numbered list that I use my number generator on, or in the apothecary jar, obviously I get recommendations from booktubers and friends. I stick them on these lists, and then they could be there for over a year, 2 years now, 3 years. So I don't always remember, but it seems like we're going to be following Anna Sun, who became a viral sensation with her playing the violin whenever she accidentally, went on YouTube, and it just went rampant. Well, she's been trying to replicate that success ever since, and it leads her to some burnout. And just as she's at, just the depression and problems galore, all of a sudden her boyfriend of long time says, before we make a commitment, let's have an open relationship. And so she's like, forget you. And so she's just heartbroken, and then tragedy strikes her family. It just seems like bad things are happening. And so I hope this story is going to be kind of a romance, trying to find the right guy, and hopefully she can get some peace by the end of it. And our Advent jar picks. So excited. Let's see. The first one is going to be 0 Days by Ruth Ware, which I've actually read. So woohoo! This jar is giving me good picks. First one is This Cursed Light by Emily Thied. Oh good, I've been wanting to get to that. And then my actual second book pick, since I've read the Ruth Ware book, is going to be Midnight by Amy McCullough. All right. And I just love the Advent jar. It allows me to pick 2 books out of there every month and read them that are from my list of top 3 that I recommend every month. So I'm so excited to get to those. I wouldn't recommend them to you guys or tell you I'm excited about them if I wasn't. So it's fabulous. I love this part of my TBR game each month. So for this month, we got This Cursed Light by Emily Thied. And for this one, of course, this is going to be the sequel to This Vicious Grace. I don't want to say much about it because it's part of that last Fenestra series. And if you didn't read book 1, it would completely spoil things if I told you anything about what this is supposed to be continuing. So suffice to say, I am excited to pick back up. Hopefully it goes exactly where the other one left off because I have needs and I needs to know. The other one that we got was Midnight by Amy McCullough. I'm excited about this one. All I know is we're going to be following Olivia, and she gets a once-in-a-lifetime chance to take a cruise to Antarctica. What could be more perfect or sound so wonderful? Unfortunately, there's a killer on board. Where do you go? Where can you hide? And those beautiful book editions that I get in those book boxes. Let's just grab one and let's see what it says. Heartless Hunter, which I've actually already finished. So see, my system works. I'm getting through those books. The Ones We Burn by Rebecca Mix. So the book box jar allows me to pick from these gorgeous editions that I get. In case I don't get to them fast enough, I want to make sure that I draw from here each month so I can read them and review them. And if they're not 5 stars, they get to go to you in the drawings. So this month we picked The Ones We Burn by Rebecca Mix. And it is very pretty with this ombre effect. And it comes with an art print and a signature and a letter from the author and all kinds of goodies. So if it's not a 5-star, it goes to you. So we're going to be following in this story Ranka, who is a witch who is just completely tired of death. She's been surrounded by it her whole life. She just wants to go up to the upper north with her coven and just live out her days in the wild and just relax. Unfortunately, the coven makes a treaty with the human kingdom down in the south, and they want to send Ranka down there to get married to the prince. And they tell her, once you get married to him, kill him. So she thinks, okay, fine, I'm going to go, I'm going to get that done, knock it out and come back, and then I'll get to relax up north with my coven. But when she gets down there, she finds out the prince is actually very kind and sweet and gentle. And in fact, he not only doesn't want to get married, he doesn't even want to become king. And so she's trying to figure out how to resolve that issue and not break the treaty when all of a sudden a bunch of witches start ending up dying from some kind of a mysterious magical plague. Apparently there's also a monster in here and just all kinds of craziness. I'm excited to get to this finally. All right, now for the Bookopoly roll. Last time we were on a beautiful cover. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that space is science fiction. Oh, my least favorite. I always have fun with my Bookopoly board as well. And this time we landed on sci-fi, which might be the first time since I've had this board that we've done that. Well, I had to ask my hubby for help because I don't do a lot of sci-fi outside of the Star Wars books I'm reading through. And he chose for me Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein. And this is going to be following Valentine, who was raised on Mars by Martians. And he was educated and raised by them, and he never saw another human being until they sent him to Earth. And when he gets there, as he's starting to see people and try to navigate what it is to be human and versus, the Martians that he was raised by, while he was there on Mars, he did learn how to manipulate water and has a special water ability. He's also trying to teach people and is, I guess, kind of disrupting the way the world works. So I'm just interested to see what this is going to be about, and I'm expecting a lot of humor in it too. So the number generator landed on number 52, which actually works out kind of cool because another one I've had on my shelf for a very long time is Half-Blood by Jennifer Armentrout. I'm excited to get to this one. I know it's supposed to be like a mythology kind of base thing with Damon and Alexandria, I think, or something like that. I don't know much more than that, but it's supposed to have like a school setting also, and there's like forbidden love and all those good things. So I'm excited to check that out. I love Jennifer Armentrout's writing style, so I think I'm in for a good time. And like I mentioned before, I do like going through and reading those Star Wars books since we have them on our shelf anyway. I just kind of want to get caught up if I can. So for this month, next in line is The Rising Storm by Kavan Scott. And from what I understand, this is picking up right after the previous book and the wake of the huge disaster that happened there that I told you about in the review. This is just going to pick right back up, and they're going to have a bit of a celebration, and the Chancellor has kind of, I guess, putting on this huge massive fair, but of course something horrible is going to start happening at the fair. So that's all I know, but I'll tell you more at the end of the month. And I'm reading through the Robin Hobbs. The reason I sound so sad is because, of course, this month is the last book, Assassin's Fate. It's a huge chunker. I'm not even sure. I think this is by far the biggest one, if I'm not mistaken. 850 pages. So I think this is the biggest one. I'm scared and I'm sad, and I was told to have tissues ready, which makes me even more scared and sad. And it feels like the end of an era. I don't want to say goodbye to Fitz. I don't want to leave this world, but I guess all good things must eventually come to an end. I'm also in several book clubs, of course, because you know I love reading with other people whenever I get the chance. So, of course, I'm going to sign up for every book club I possibly can. First of all, of course, I'm going to mention my own, the ABC Book Club. You're welcome to join us anytime on Instagram. We also do it in Discord. We ask no spoilers ahead of time. I break it down by chapters. Feel free to do the same or wait until they've been posted for the week and then you can comment all those chapters. But we enjoyed the last one so much that it was voted for this month that we're going to continue the series with the second book, A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kimmerer. We're excited. Again, kind of Beauty and the Beast vibes and politics and all kinds of craziness is about to happen. And we can't wait to continue and see what happens next. Then I'm also in Cassidy's Backlist Book Club, and I'll make sure to link everything below as well as pictures and everything here. And absolutely having a great time in Book of the Ice series. We are finally picking up book number 3 for this month, which is The Girl and the Moon by Mark Lawrence. I've really enjoyed this series much more than Book of the Ancestor trilogy that they did last time with Red Sister. Wasn't for me. This one, though, I have been absorbing and absolutely loving it. I can't wait for this final book in this series to let me know what happens next. And then last but not least, with the Cassidy group, for her Patreon group, we are doing a reading through of the series for The Legends of the First Empire. We are picking up book number 3, Age of War by Michael J. Sullivan. And again, on my reviews, I've been telling you, I've been absolutely loving it. Cassidy, funny enough, did not like the series and stopped after the first book, but several of us have continued, and I can't wait to see what happens further in that series. Then moving on to the Indie Archive, which is part of the Patreon group for Mel as well as Cassidy. They do that together. We're doing Bloodstones. This is by Tori Tekken, who is a booktuber as well. I don't know her channel. I'll have to try to find it to link below for you because I've actually never gone and visited her myself. But I am always up for promoting indie authors, and both Mel and Cassidy have already read this and just absolutely adored it. So I'm excited. I'm going to be reading it in my Kindle Unlimited. And I think on Hoopla, there's an audio version as well, in case you want to join and do that. And then last, but of course not least, is Liv. I love being a part of her book club. She's a beautiful person. Absolutely make sure you check her out below. She's just so fantastic. I can't say enough good things about her. And for the book club this month, we are doing Heartless Hunter, which, as you already know from my review yesterday, I've actually already read this. So it gives me a little bit of a break this month, which is what I was hoping for after Realmathon. So I'm not mad at it. I'm also enjoying the Reddit bingo board, and for this one I decided to cover up the space for novella because, again, want to kind of give myself a little bit of a break this month. And so I chose Edge Dancer by Brandon Sanderson. This is part of the Stormlight Archive series that I've really been enjoying. I did The Way of Kings, and then I did Words of Radiance. This is number 2.5, so it actually happens right after Words of Radiance before Oathbringer, which I haven't started yet. So this is like the perfect time to go ahead and wedge that in there, and it's a nice small novella. And of course, being an indie author myself, I want to always support and promote those indie authors. I'm going to continue with the sequel to Along the Razor's Edge by reading The Lessons Never Learned by Rob J. Hayes. I'm hoping we're continuing the story. We left on quite the cliffhanger, and I've got to know. I also promised all of you that I would be reading more whenever we get these beautiful book boxes in. They always have a little card, spoiler card on there that says what the items are inspired by, and I promise you I'd read those books if I said that I hadn't read them before. So I've been keeping those in little note cards. If there's a book on there I've not read before, I keep them in a binder and then I slowly pull them out. So I think we're caught up to like August of 2024 at this point. The last one I needed on this note card in particular for August of 2024 was The Scarlet Veil by Shelby McCurran, I think it's pronounced. I don't know much about this. I've seen it around. It's got pretty good ratings on GoodReads. I know it's like a vampire romance. I think it's supposed to follow the main character who is a good girl and always follows the rules, but then always also wanted to be a fighter and trained to be a fighter. And so I think she has to because something bad's happening and she needs to rise up and defend people or something. But I don't know. It just kind of sounded really good at the time. And I knew it was, back here on my periphery. And now I'm excited to have a reason to read it. And like all of you, I've got 50 million series that have been started and never finished. And so I try each month to get to the end of series as often as I can. And so for this, I chose Brother Song by TJ Klune. I absolutely adore this series. I need to finish this final book in the series. And I believe it's in July that the new cover comes out, and that will complete it on my shelf up there as well. So I'm just so excited. So naturally, I'm getting ready to play my game, and of course, Stevie has to be a part of it. So I apologize ahead of time for the chaos. That is him. We left off last month right here. I did not get it correct, and I did not enjoy the book. So here's hoping I will get it correct and enjoy the book. All right, 3. 1, 2, 3 for a roll again. And seriously. 1, 2, 3. We'll just roll again some more. And a 1. So we'll go green. And we'll just pick something here from the middle. And for green, it says, what Citadel graduate served 2 tours of duty in Vietnam before authorizing his historical Fallon novels under the name Reagan O'Neill? What? Stevie, do you know the answer to this? Any clues there? Oh my gosh. That's my dice. I have yet to figure out any of these. This is a tough game, guys. I'm going to guess 2 tours of Vietnam. So it's somebody older. I don't know, Patterson? Robert Jordan. Okay. So once again, I was stumped by the Trivial Pursuit game. What makes me feel a little bit better is most of you out there say you wouldn't have gotten that right either. These questions are really flipping hard. I was excited to see that it was Robert Jordan though, because we know Robert Jordan from the Wheel of Time series. So I am really excited. Now I'm also a little scared because like I said, I couldn't get into Wheel of Time. It was very, very boring to me. So I'm hoping that this book in particular won't be, but for the sake of this game and me and what I'm trying to do with broadening my horizons, I will be reading the Fallon Blood, which is the first book in that series they mention. And I will at least know the answer moving forward if this card ever comes up again. And I don't know much about it other than it's kind of a historical fiction, which we know I don't really like. But again, wish me luck. I'm hoping it goes well. So let's see if we can shrink my shelf with a fun prompt. See what it says. A book you bought just for the cover. So for the Shrink the Shelf game, I'm still using those cards. I did get an email from SarahBeth Allred, though, that said that the Kickstarter will be starting soon. And then when that happens, it means we are so close to actually getting her game. I cannot wait. I will link information below on that. You can also go back to January's TBR game where I had full information there as well. So I will keep you posted, but at least we've got an update and we know it's coming. But my version using these cards until I can get that really awesome game is that it gave me the prompt of a book I bought solely for the cover. Of course, that would be Flower Heart by Catherine Bakewell. I mean, that is stunning. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. This follows Clara, who's always had kind of a wild gift with flowers. Unfortunately, one day she touches her father's chest and poisonous flowers bloom out. And the only way to heal him is with the help of Xavier, who was a friend of hers growing up, but hasn't talked to him and hung out with him in a few years. He says, sure, I'll help you, but for a cost. And apparently the cost is really steep. And Clara's having a hard time reconciling this Xavier with the boy she grew up with. So this should be interesting. Now, of course, I want to tell you all about the top 3 books coming out this month that I am excited to read whenever I can get my little hands on them. The first one comes out April the 9th, and that is going to be The Hemlock Queen. This one is by Hannah Witten. Sorry. This is the sequel, of course, to The Foxglove King, which I gave 4 stars to, so close to a 5-star. So I'm excited to see this one, if it picks up where the other one left off, and if we get some answers finally, and if I regret selling, or not selling, I actually gave it away in a book box, but if I'm going to regret giving away that beautiful edition that I got. The other one that's coming out also on April the 9th is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I'm excited to finally get a new Leigh Bardugo, and so different from the ones I've read from her before. This one is going to be following Luzia, I think is how you pronounce her name. She lives in a shabby house in a shabby part of town in Madrid, and she's got little scraps of magic that she uses just to kind of help her with her endless toiling as a scullion maid. Her scheming mistress, though, finds out one day that she's got this magic ability and demands that Luzia use it to help further the status of her family. So Luzia uses this little bit of magic and miracles to kind of help her scheming mistress. The king gets wind of it, and the notoriety for her starts to grow. Unfortunately, so do the expectations and the political intrigue that are happening. So I'm excited about that. And then on April the 23rd, we are going to be getting a new one from Emily Henry called Funny Story. This one sounds so sad. This is going to be following Daphne, who absolutely loves how her fiance, Peter, tells their story. He always says it in such a charming and romantic way, and everybody's hearts just melt until one day he tells Daphne he's actually in love with his childhood friend, Petra, and is leaving her. Daphne's brokenhearted. She's trying to, get herself picked back up and move on with life. And of course, nothing ever goes as smoothly as you think it will or hope it will. I am still going to be continuing down that very long Oregon Trail. I don't know if I'll hit Oregon. Maybe I'll get lucky if I land around like Kansas at this point. I am so lost on this map. But that's okay. The point is, I'm trying to get in my steps. I'm trying to get in those miles, and I'm trying to get healthier. So what can you do? And with April comes better weather. So hopefully I'll be outside more and get in more of those steps. I hope you all have an absolutely fabulous April. Let me know below what you're most excited to read about. And on this list, what you've read already and think I'm going to enjoy. Please like, subscribe, send your friends, and I will see you guys next time. Seriously? Seriously.